It is hot. It is humid. So excuse me if I wipe my face a bunch of times. This is all about Gene Key 19. You should really look into human design if you're under 40. It's much easier to understand. Gene Keys is its partner. I think the same people created it. I'm not sure. Gene Keys is a multi-layered living system, and you can glimpse at it in your 30s. You might understand something, but probably not. By the time you're 40, you're probably going to find one thing that's going to be super duper cool, and it'll help you a lot. And then keep looking in on it, and you're going to uncover more things that validate your entire existence on this planet and just reassures you that you are exactly who you think you are and how you're supposed to function. So it helps you, like, because certain people can do things one way and it helps them, but other people are actually designed differently, and so there's a different way to do your things and do your business, and your way is your way. And human design and Gene Keys are really going to help you discover your way and be okay with being exactly who you are designed to be, by your own blueprint, by your own genes even. So let's get started on Gene Key 19. This is in my sphere of my life's work, so that explains a lot. And it's also with the ring of Gaia, the codon ring of Gaia, which explains a lot as well, the global ring. I'm not sure if I have all 3 gene keys for that codon ring or if I have 2 out of the 3. So that's the other cool thing with gene keys. When you link up with another person who has that other gene, they become your programming partner. But I think if you have your whole body activated and buzzing in every cell, like when you're at the 0 point, like how I was just a few months ago, I think all your rings activate. So I look at all my rings, I have the ring of alchemy 3 times, so that confirms a lot. Yeah, definitely an alchemist. The life's work, Gene Key 19, it's all about shamans, right? And anyway, I'm not going to get into my whole Gene Keys thing. It's super cool. I'm still getting to know myself through that language. So Gene Key 19, if you're really good with animals and other species, you may have this in your chart. It is maybe in a different sphere or in a different line, because there's the 19.5 is mine. So it's line 5, which is the fixer. I'm all about fixing things. In this case, the collective human psyche is fixing that is my life's work. It's like confirmed right here. And in the sphere of the life's work, I'm the fixer. So like I said in my last video, I'm Wolf from Pulp Fiction. Just, you don't know what to do. I come in, I'm like, I'll fix it. I'll figure it out. So the 19th shadow, this is how it starts out. The shadow of the 19th gene key is codependence. And this ties into the whole everything about this. So buckle in, get a glass of water, get comfortable. The 19th shadow, codependence, the great change. Along with the 49th and 55th shadows, the 19th shadow is perhaps the most topical shadow of our current age. We are living through a time of unprecedented global mutation, and this mutation is on many levels, from the most physical to the most spiritual, to truly capture the essence of what is occurring to humanity. One needs to look not so much at the spiritual dimension, but at the opposite end of the spectrum, the biogenetic. The mind of man is steeped in causality. As long as we recognize a cause, we believe there is a purpose. And if you are a geneticist, everything you look at appears to serve the purpose of evolution of life. Whereas if you are a mystic, everything serves the purpose of the evolution of consciousness. For millennia, humanity has tried to understand the purpose of life from the spiritual dimension. But until fairly recently, we have not had the ability to understand the purpose of life from the material dimension. With the advent of genetics, we are beginning to see the micro-processes that drive evolution itself. A scientist might say that man's spiritual evolution comes about as a result of his biological evolution. The mystic tends to see it the opposite way around. What is fascinating about the scientific view is that it focuses on the lower frequency realms, the realm of matter. And the 19th shadow represents an aspect of our genome that is currently undergoing an intense mutation. A mutation is a spontaneous and usually sudden quantum leap from one state to another. In genetics, mutations are often the mistakes that happen when genes copy one another. Such mistakes can lead to fascinating new chemical combinations, which can in turn lead to the evolution of entirely new forms. The 19th shadow of codependence has its roots deep within our tribal ancestral past. Codependence refers to the state of consciousness below independence. To be independent means to rely only upon yourself, whereas to be codependent means to rely on outside agencies. As primitives, we primarily relied upon nature for our survival. And because we relied upon an outside agency, we anthropomorphized it. In other words, we created gods to represent that agency. Thus, it is out of the 19th shadow that all the world religions have been born. Our relationship with God or a set of gods is purely codependent. It's purely a codependent relationship because it is based on this need for outside authority. You see how, I'm totally Malak Taoist here. It is here in the 19th gene key that one of the great human stories is coded. The story of our relationship to God. As long as man believes in a God outside himself, the frequency of our planet will remain at the level of the 19th shadow. The vibration of human suffering depends on the existence of a separate authority of a higher frequency than us. This last sentence is the ultimate definition of what it means to be a victim, which is what characterizes the shadow frequency. The programming partner to the 19th shadow is the 33rd shadow of forgetting. In creating a God out there somewhere, we have forgotten the power that lies dormant within us. Let me get a sip of water so I can keep going. Hold on. Where's my water? See how juicy this 19th gene key is? It's all about God, religion, the world, the collective psyche. I hope that wasn't too loud. Kind of banged it. Okay. Yes, so in creating a God out there, we have forgotten the power that lies dormant within us. The ultimate reliance we have outside ourselves is on food. God has always been about food, and food has always been about territory. Food production was based upon tribal territory. Oh no, stop this. Sorry, I'm like bad with my fingers and technology. It did something. Where'd it go? Yes. So God has always been about food, and food has always been about territory, right? Now, food production was based upon tribal territory, which is why the different nations and cultures developed in the first place. But today, at least in the developed world, food no longer has to come from our own tribe. It can be flown in from anywhere in the world. For one thing, our dietary needs are changing as we learn to manipulate our environment with greater efficiency. As long as man believes in a God outside himself, the frequency of our planet will remain at the level of the 19th shadow. This means our whole planet is going to remain at the level of codependent frequency, as long as we believe in a God outside of ourselves. Plain and simple. And I am here to help the whole world forge a path, true authenticity, true kindness, compassion, which leads to true interdependency through our authenticity. This is my thing. So subscribe, like, okay? This is what I do. Okay. So through sciences such as nuclear physics and genetics, humanity is beginning to play God more and more, and is thus moving from a state of codependence to a state of independence. But we can now outwit the gods with modern technology. We no longer need them as much. The more advanced the society, the deeper we question God as an outside agency. However, the 19th shadow is currently undergoing a huge genetic mutation, which means that man's reliance on religion is also undergoing a transformation. The old tribal fears of not having enough are dying, and with them, the great religions. The breaking of such a deep-seated and ancient codependent relationship has powerful repercussions for our world. The old ways must die to the new. Such is the purpose of mutation. And the process is one of destruction. Only as the dust finally settles will the new creation become fully realized. The reason all of this can seem so terrifying is that it represents a fork in our evolutionary development, in which an entirely new path is opening, a path in which human beings will have to leave behind the old tribal codependent ways. The whole world is dividing into those who are becoming more independent and those who cling to the comfort of the old ways. On a global level, we are beginning to see this made manifest now in the battle between globalization and factionalism, and between science and religion. For us as individuals, the transformation of the 19th shadow will see its deepest manifestation in our relationships. The old-style codependent relationships of the working husband and the homebound wife are giving way to a new level of independence. The liberation of women is changing the infrastructure of our civilization, and children are increasingly cared for collectively so that both mother and father retain a higher level of independence. Whether we like this or not, it is occurring all across the developed world. Our children are growing up as the children of society rather than the children of a single tribal family. Because of the huge genetic shifts taking place across the board, male-female relationship dynamics are more challenging than ever. A great change is coming, and roles are changing to accommodate the birth of a new paradigm. Although it may be a difficult birth, in the not too distant future, the 19th shadow will have disappeared entirely from our world. Yes, and I really hope to make that happen with you, because I think codependence really sucks. And unfortunately, most people who are in relationships are in codependent relationships, and it's just like, ugh, you know? And it's going to talk more about this. Okay. Let's go. The contemporary mutation moving through this 19th gene key is having an unprecedented effect on all life on our planet. As a vital aspect of the codon ring of Gaia, along with the 60th and 61st gene keys, is breaking down the very patterns of the world's psyche. The reactive rigidity of the 60th shadow and the psychosis of the 61st shadow. Yes, I have, I believe I have Gate 61. Or I do in human design, so I suppose I confuse the two. Okay. I think it's the same. The reactive rigidity of the 60th shadow and psychosis of the 61st shadow, they're talking about other gene keys here, have long held sway that also take part in the ring of Gaia. So they've long held sway on our planet, which is psychosis and rigidity. Great reaction is occurring within the chemistry of our DNA as the old ways appear to tighten their grip on the only reality they have known. There is enormous fear being generated through the shadows of this codon ring, and enormous potential violence as our codependence is broken. However, the truth is that all life is, and always has been, interdependent, because all life is one, and independence is an illusion. And this realization is bringing an end to the world's psychosis that operates out of the 19th shadow low-frequency survival-based reality. It is through this ring of Gaia that we must and will eventually see and will live once again in union with all beings that share this planet Earth. And that's what I'm talking about, why I say there's one God. There's an auric field that where everything is connected to everything, and I tap into that easily. And that's part of the 19th gene key, apparently. Yeah. So if you also have the 19th gene key, you might have a lot of the same gifts that I have. And if you have it as your life's work, that's it should probably be working together. Union is in my vocation, and I have Ring of Water in my physicality for my life purpose. So I really think my oversoul is going to come in full force. It kind of dipped right now with this full moon in Scorpio. The energies are all like clearing low scorpionic old emotions. You have to be very, very high vibrational to allow in those super high echelons. It's like the last few weeks, every time I try it, she comes in, but it's like there's not a lot of energy. And the fully online thing, I'm still waiting. If I have the guts. But it's there. It's like written in my thing. Anyway, okay. Gene keys is super cool when it starts to make sense. That's why if it doesn't make sense to you, keep going, keep trying. Keep looking back on it, because usually it's like one thing that will help you. So where were we? Yes. So we're going to bust out of this low frequency survival based reality. We're going to do that. I hope to be leading with you, not leading you, but be like all of us be leading this together because I'm the kind of leader that says, don't follow me, like follow your own heart. Like if you got to lead by example, like I don't follow anyone, you know, so just like follow yourself, but like move with me, I hope, anyway, if you feel called. So yeah, we will eventually see and once again live in union with all the beings that share this planet Earth. So the repressive nature is needy. The repressive nature of the 19th shadow emerges as neediness or clinging. These are people who cannot let go of the past out of a fear of being alone. This creates catastrophic relationship dynamics based on making other people victims of their own need. Repressive natures can be very cunning with the way they transmit their shadow patterns. These people will very likely use subtle tools such as guilt to get their own needs met. They need to feel needed, and they will act out all kinds of dramas, often totally unconsciously, to get the attention they crave. They are masters of negative attention, drawing other people's energy towards them without caring what expression it takes. Even violence is a form of attention. The only way to break out of such patterns is to move into independence. Well, hopefully I broke out of that because I've been living like a hermit on my own for many, many, many years. Many years. I don't think that's a little cuckoo there. Reactive nature is isolated. The angry expression of this gene key is isolationist. These people refuse any attention, loudly proclaiming that they don't need anyone. Such a nature only pretends to be independent, while beneath the surface they seethe with rage. Of course, people that isolate themselves like this always take great care to do it right before everyone else's eyes. They make a point of showing you how alone they are, craving the attention it brings them, and becoming even more embittered when others leave them alone. Ironically, when others do try and support them or offer them friendship, they usually explode, projecting all their pent-up anger onto the other person. Maybe I've been there. It's hard to help an Aquarius, but I don't know about the rest. It is easy to see how the repressive and the reactive nature together create the perfect dynamic of the typical dysfunctional codependent relationship. So maybe I'm kind of lucky with all the sacrifice I've done. I got to skip a lot of codependent relationships because I was just sacrificing myself. And but then I did have one or two where I thought they were codependent and I knew it wasn't working. So it's possible if I thought they were codependent, when I finally got out of the sacrifice pattern, I was just like, this is codependence. So maybe it's possible I had a codependent shadow on my side that I couldn't see, because it's really hard to see the shadow if I was attracting codependency. But I just see, like, other than the relationships where you're being used, you're sacrificing yourself, most people are in a codependent relationship. And I don't agree with that at all. It is... they think they're functional, but I think they're all dysfunctional, because you have to be your authentic self. You could, in the end, sacrifice your sense of individuality in a good way to be in a partnership, but you shouldn't sacrifice any values, like any, you shouldn't be doing things you don't like that. You're basically, when you're making a so-called sacrifice to help your partner, it should please you to do so. It shouldn't be like, well, they're my partner, so I do this for them and she does this for me, and it's like you're taking punches for each other. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to end that. You can find a better way to be. So, not again with this. Okay. So now, enough with the negative stuff. The 19th gift is sensitivity. I'm sensitive to the humidity with this shiny face. So the whisperers were called. The gift of sensitivity is about being highly attuned to the needs of others. In order to be able to sense others and their needs, you must first become independent from them, which is what this 19th gift is about. The moment you reach the frequency of independence, your natural energy becomes apparent. This 19th gift is also a gift of touch. I can probably read Braille, even though I never learned how. I should learn how to read Braille. It does not have to be literal touch, although it can be. Many of these people are gifted healers or therapists. Yep. It is more than just a physical sense of touch, but a touch with people as well as animals. We learn from its shadow. As we learn from its shadow, this gene key is rooted in material need. And when you elevate the frequency from your own need, you suddenly become aware of the needs of everything and everyone around you. Yep. This makes the 19th gift a great environmental barometer. I told you I read the collective. There is a rare phenomenon. There's a rare phenomenon in human beings known as synesthesia. Yep, got that too. Synesthesia is the genetic ability to link different senses internally. For example, to smell with your eyes or see colors with your hands. It is actually, I'm more like see music, but I see colors everywhere. It is actually deeply connected to the 19th gift and can often be activated when a higher frequency passes through this gene key. Synesthesia is a byproduct of increased sensitivity to your sensory environment. If this 19th gift is an aspect of your hologenetic profile, then it is highly possible that you may discover latent abilities that allow you to feel deeply into your environment, and in particular to sense the emotional patterns and needs of others through the living auric field. That's what I was talking about. Many artists and healers have these kinds of gifts and can sense the hidden higher energy fields through their fingers and through their skin or hair. Sensing these fields in nature allows you to see a completely different world from most people. A world of energy fluctuations, intense colors, moods, and internal pressure patterns. Yeah, like, always feels like I'm on a boat, kind of like the air feels like, I feel the water moving in my body, if I can put it that way. Yet I'm grounded. It's just the pressure patterns, I guess, is why I said that. In the deepest sense, the higher frequencies of the 19th gene key have access to the realms of magic. Yes, we do. The higher frequencies of the 19th gene key have access to the realms of magic. They wrote that in italics bigger. We may recall that the 19th shadow finds its basis in the human dependence on external food. The 19th gift simply shifts this perspective to a higher level. At a higher frequency, food is really life energy. That's what I'm talking about. That's where the hummingbird goes. Or what the ancients called prana or chi. That's your food, baby. This gift allows you increased sensitivity to the living bioenergy that connects all creatures. When your heart and being opens to the sense, when your heart and being opens to sense the abundance of this energy throughout nature, you become for the first time emotionally independent. I guess that's why I've been independent since I was like 16. Oh boy. Only the activation of the love inside your own DNA gives you this wider sense of being. Furthermore, because this 19th gene key is one of the first places in the human genome where the great change is having an immediate impact. The movement from codependence to independence is something we see increasingly throughout our human culture. In its early stages, it is not an easy passage. Suddenly having increased sensitivity to your environment makes you more aware than ever of your old tendencies towards codependence. Even though you may have opened your heart to the great change, most of the world still has not done so, which puts you in a position of great responsibility, not to mention discomfort. We are seeing such responses to the great change all across our culture today. As human beings become more aware of how much damage our codependence is doing to our environment. The 19th gene key is a genetic portal into the unconscious and particularly into the... Oh, what did I do again? Hold on. The 19th gene key is a genetic portal into the unconscious and particularly into the collective unconscious. The collective unconscious. Let me reprogram you back into authenticity, true love and kindness. Yes, Catbird Angel here. Okay, interestingly, this gift seems to have strong activation in cultures that live close to nature, such as indigenous cultures. In such tribal groups, there has always been an increased sensitivity to those regions that are beyond the five senses. What modern humans often interpret as naivety in such cultures is in fact a heightened genetic sensitivity to the realm, to the quantum reality of the unconscious. It's a heightened genetic sensitivity to the quantum reality of the unconscious, not naivety. Okay. As this gene key reawakens in humanity, we see changes in our dream life. And through this portal, we can reconnect with our ancient sense of the magic that comes through dreams. People with the 19th gift are often shamans because of their increased sensitivity to other worlds and other realms. The 19th gene key is one of one of three primary portals, along with the 62nd and 12th gene keys, that allow humanity to access other evolutionary kingdoms within nature. These kingdoms, which have often been referred to as the angelic or devic realms, are planes of consciousness that follow a similar evolutionary pattern to humanity, but in parallel dimensions. The 19th gene key behaves like a genetic marker in human DNA, and only when you hit a certain genetic frequency does that marker activate the portal, allowing information to cross clearly between these parallel worlds. Certain human beings have always been credited, or indeed discredited, with the ability to see fairies or hear voices or of spirits or angels. This is a genetic ability that comes specifically through the 19th gift. Of course, the 19th shadow also has its low-frequency counterparts, which can cause human beings to tune into the lower or subterranean kingdoms, often known as the demon realm. As a matter of fact, most human beings are directly influenced by these parallel evolutions, whether they realize it or not. Only a higher virtuous frequency allows you to become independent of these shadow forces. Boom, that's what I'm trying to tell all of you, which otherwise pull you again and again into lower frequency patterns and emotional states. Like, this is all you gotta do. You gotta, like, bust through those shadows. So many people are friggin' possessed and don't know it. It's like by programming. It's just... Ugh. Sorry, it's hot and cramped here. Okay. Ba 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 ba. So the 19th gift has a particularly powerful link with the mammal kingdom because it acts as a portal between the unconscious and conscious realms. Those who know how to use this portal can access information from other realms apart from the human. Since this gene key has evolved from humanity's relationship to food, it also evolved out of our relationship to nature, since traditionally we killed animals for our food, especially mammals. This ancient sacrificial relationship between humans and animals is actually based upon a timeless, sacred pact between the two species. Those with sensitivity will know the future destiny of this cross-species contract. Most tribal cultures contain legends of a time when animals and humans were a single consciousness, and in the future, this is our eventual destiny. To once again enter the collective quantum field where both humans and animals coexist. It is this ancient connection to our DNA between other mammals and humans that is the origin of the Whisperers, especially gifted people who can communicate with animals or who can act as a bridge between entirely different species. Such people can tune into the ancestral gene pools of certain species and often feel a profound connection to nature at a deeper level than ordinary people. In tribal societies, the shaman's specific skill was to bridge the ancestral spirit behind the tribe to the individuals within the tribe. This is a direct reflection of the function of the 19th gift. People with these gifts have always been humanity's natural interpreters of other realms. Their increased awareness of the energetic pathways and portals between all realms, material, emotional, mental, and divine, mark them as pioneers and initiators into the magical realms. In today's world, people with the 19th gift are likely to use their sensitivity in any field where people are working together in groups. Their ability to unconsciously sense the needs of others means that they are often seen as psychic. However, they can also be very grounded in the reality of the needs of the material plane. For example, they can use their heightened sensitivity to bring balance to the spheres of money, work, and relationships. In fact, their very presence brings focus to these kinds of issues. This gift truly spans all realms, and its future function, as we shall see, is to collapse the barriers that separate them, thus fusing together the ancient magical realms with the modern material plane. Yeah, baby. Woo! That's what we do. Bum, 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 bum. So, the 19th city sacrifice. What, do you want me to read that sentence again? Okay. This gift truly spans all realms, and its future function, as we shall see, is to collapse the barriers that separate them, thus fusing together the magical realm with the modern material plane. Just, click subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. You get more of this. That's what we do here. The 19th Siddhi, a Siddhi, Siddhi, is a supernatural gift. So the 19th Siddhi is actually sacrifice. How is sacrifice a Siddhi, you might ask? Well, it is the 5th initiation, the Annunciation, which I have received, which is why I really expect this Oversoul to just fully take over. It's a total rebirth. Complete. It was like sacrificing my physical body now to empty, just to let God in. Very, like Messiah-like from shaman to Messiah. Took me a while to be able to say that out loud, but it is what it is. The path of frequency through, and I'm sure many of you also have the 19th gene key. That's why you're watching this. So the Annunciation, which is the announcement of the miracle birth, right? The path of frequency through the 19th gift goes from codependence to independence and finally to interdependence. Interdependence represents a quantum leap beyond the other two. And its realization is the future destiny of our species. The future of our species depends on all of us. Okay, let's get serious now. Without blowing that up. Okay. Yes. Its realization is the future destiny of our species in many ways. It is a 19th shadow of codependence that contains the seed of the 19th city of sacrifice. I have to read that again because I don't know what I just read. In many ways, it is a 19th shadow of codependence that contains the seed of the 19th city of sacrifice. Yes, so the shadow contains the seed. Because I can't live in codependent there. You know. In a codependent relationship, both partners have sacrificed a part of their true selves to the relationship. And the resulting lack of synthesis they feel drives the negative patterns of the relationship. Let me read that again for you because everybody needs to hear this many times to drive it home. In a codependent relationship, both partners have sacrificed a part of their true selves to the relationship. And the resulting lack of synthesis they feel drives the negative patterns of the relationship. So, to avoid that, don't sacrifice your true self. Ever. Just drives negative patterns. Okay. In a relationship that is truly interdependent, both partners also sacrifice their sense of individuality into a higher version of their divinity, holding nothing back for themselves at all. See the difference? You can sacrifice your lower self for a higher self and hold nothing back. But when you sacrifice your true self, it's going to lead to poop. Just stinky bad poop. Caca. Okay. The true meaning of interdependence is about entering into a state of union with all beings in the cosmos, which involves the death of the separate self. This kind of sacrifice can only occur when you give your heart unconditionally to another. Instead of dying, you're actually reborn as a higher dimensional being. In surrendering your smaller self, you attain realization of your greater self. Now, I love doing this stuff, but I'm a sacrificer. I guess I lost my ego many times, and other people. See, words are a trap because the ego is necessary. We need an ego, but you also need to forget everything you thought was true. Often in your life, to be able to perceive anything new and learn anything new, and to be able to lose your small self and gain a higher version of yourself, it's like it is a Russian doll. That's what they're going to talk about next here. So, let me read that again because you got to let that sink in. So in a relationship that is truly interdependent, both partners also sacrifice a sense of their individuality into a higher vision of their divinity, holding nothing back for themselves at all. So it's like you make a sacred container in the relationship. That's why marriage is a holy union. Guys and girls generally don't get along unless you make it sacred, and then you're a unit working together. And you're raised in there where it's like you become gods to each other. Gods within and reflected, the real like king and queen of your castle. Where you don't deny any of yourself. But you're elevated, you're a higher self, so you're not bringing in the lower dimensional bullshit. The interdependence doesn't work when you're carrying baggage. And that's why there's a huge baggage cleanup going on right now. If you want to jump on the ascension timeline track, you got to lose that baggage because it's too dense, it's too low vibrational to make it into the new world where there is none of that. None of that ick. All right. So, yeah, the true meaning of interdependence is about entering into a state of union with all beings in the cosmos, which involves the death of the separate self. This kind of sacrifice can only occur when you give your heart unconditionally to another. And that's like when you want the divine to enter you, your oversoul, you want to connect with Source, God, Christ, whoever you pray to. You have to open your heart with all the love. It's written there in the Bible, when you seek God with all of your heart, that's when you'll find God and God will find you. It's your heart. That's why Jesus is pointing there. But it's not outside yourself, it's omnipresent. This auric field is within everything and within you. Jesus is pointing inside of his own heart. But Jesus' heart is your heart. The heart connects, that namaste point. The light in me salutes the light in you. It's in the heart, a tiny space in the heart. It's actually a physical space in the heart. All right. Instead of dying, you're actually reborn as a higher dimensional being. In surrendering your smaller self, you attain realization of your greater self. Our awareness is like a series of Russian dolls. As we make each leap in awareness, we come to realize we are housed within a wider framework than we had previously understood. That's what I mean by it. Why, like, the death of the ego is so great, because each time it's like you're in a greater awareness. The first ego death is always the worst. It's the hardest. It's the most difficult to accept. Through the 19th gene key, you can see how each level of frequency has to transcend itself entirely. Once humans overcome their codependence on outside agencies, they finally achieve independence. Likewise, once they attain independence, they have to take another great leap to give up their hard-earned independence and trust in the totality itself. That's where I'm at. It's scary. The surrender to the collective structure involves sacrifice at the highest level of the word's meaning. This is where I'm at. This is the sacrifice of your separate identity, and perhaps far more frightening for the separate self, it is the sacrifice of your body. The 19th city shares a profound connection with the 49th city of rebirth. These two cities represent the key mystical process that will eventually overtake the human species. Great secrets are held within the world's great myths. And here we can see the myth of sacrifice. The Norse Odin hanging upside down on the world tree, or Christ hanging on the cross, all sacrificial myths lead to a rebirth. And all such myths are anthropomorphoses of deep genetic secrets hidden within human DNA. I think the first rebirth was actually Inanna, the divine feminine. As we have seen, this 19th gene key has a deep connection with the animal kingdoms. Humanity has evolved out of the animal realm. We are the result of a series of genetic mutations that took place in primates and finally led to the creation of a new species, Homo sapiens. Through this 19th city, you can see how consciousness has traveled through form after form, and each time creating a more complex form in order to house a higher frequency than the previous one. At every level within this chain, the higher chain form has lived off the form below it in order to keep evolving. Life is thus a living chain of sacrifice. Earth is really the breeding ground for a series of genetic leaps that parallel the awakening of our full spiritual realization. Our awareness is like a series of Russian dolls. As we make each leap in awareness, we come to realize we are housed within a wider framework than we had previously understood. There are a total of 9 dimensions that our Earth has to move through. And as we pass through each of these initiations, we have to sacrifice our smaller, local self before finally being born as a true, universal human being. Consciousness is now beginning to outstrip man and is reaching out for a higher form. But the new form must emerge out of the old one. So deep within human DNA, new mutations are being triggered. This is one of the main reasons for the vast population explosion on the planet. Our genes require the maximum diversity in order to trigger a genetic mutation potent enough to reshape Homo sapiens into something quite different. It is also the reason why so many new diseases are emerging through our DNA. They are all early mutations, precursors of what is to follow. Through the 19th city, it is not only the individual that must sacrifice him or herself into the whole, but also the whole human species that must be sacrificed. Everything we see happening in the world around us, from pollution to global warming to wars and to social upheaval, is a result of the profound genetic process we are undergoing. For those with the 19th city, the focus is always on the future needs of humanity rather than the current needs. These people understand what is to come, as well as what we must go through. Such people stand alone as heralds of a future consciousness, and their lives are a magnificent example of sacrifice to that consciousness. They emerge during times of great mutation, since they themselves are in the grip of that mutation. With their hypersensitive, mutated DNA, they see the new form emerging and do their utmost to prepare people for the coming consciousness shift. Are you one of me? Are you my tribe? Yup. All right. With their hypersensitive mutated DNA, they see the new form emerging and do their utmost to prepare people for the coming consciousness shift, which a lot of people, I think, chose to block themselves from, but there's a lot more people waking up now. They are highly sensitized bridges to the new human and have the ability to siphon information about the new paradigm form beyond the veil. Oh, no, to siphon information about the new paradigm from behind the veil of the future into the present. So they're highly sensitized bridges to the new They are highly sensitized bridges to the new human and have the ability to siphon information about the new paradigm from behind the veil of the future into the present. Every Siddhi, that is a supernatural gift, has to make its sacrifice in this way because each of them represents a being from the future that works in the present. Hello, I come from the future. The 19th Siddhi contains the secrets of mystical initiation. Every aspect of the Earth's consciousness must move through the 9 portals of initiation before our collective planetary evolution comes to an end. Each of these initiations is explored in more depth within the 22nd gene key. Stay hydrated. Those bells are to remind you to drink your water. Put a little lemon and salt in them. Okay, next paragraph. The 9 portals. The 9 portals of planetary initiation. I don't think I read this one yet. It wasn't included before. Okay. Cool. One sec. Super cool. Okay. So every aspect of Earth's consciousness must move through the 9 portals of initiation before a collective planetary evolution comes to an end. Now, the 9 portals of planetary initiation are: number 1, birth; 2, baptism; 3, confirmation; 4, matrimony; 5, annunciation; 6, communion; 7, ordination; 8, sanctification; 9, glorification. Each initiation brings us into a wider awareness of our interdependence with the whole. When the 19th Siddhi manifests in form, then a great being makes an individual sacrifice on behalf of the whole. This is the mystery and hidden meaning of the life of Christ. Through an individual sacrifice, the 19th Siddhi allows the entire collective to pass through a group initiation. We can see how the Christian rites hold the codes of the great initiations, even though they have been effectively frozen into structures that have little or nothing to do with the initiations themselves, which occur organically and usually over the course of many incarnations. The ring of Gaia, then, which this gene key is a vital aspect, the ring of Gaia, connects all Earth beings on the same initiatory journey. As the ultimate form manifestation of Gaia, humanity stands on the cusp of one of the greatest initiations, the 5th initiation of the Annunciation. So everybody is going through a rebirth. Everybody. Mystically speaking, this great initiation has to do with the conception of a holy child within the body of humanity. And I've seen that. Thus, the whole of humanity must sacrifice its independence for a higher vision. Yeah, I took a near lethal dose of mushrooms after I busted out. I breath worked out the suffering program. I was just like, okay, what do I do now with my life? And I was like, I'm gonna do like an epic amount of mushrooms that I've never done before, even though I've been a mushroom shaman since age like 14. I've never done that much. And it was something else. And I was in between the dimension. Anyway, I'm not going to say all of it, but I was like, I'm going to open the gates of abundance. I opened the golden dimension. And what made me bring this up again? Why am I talking about this? Oh, yeah. And up there in the golden dimension, so the hand with a baby boy, like the son, just like in all glory, that the child was born. And I brought it down to earth. And no joke, just yesterday I was watching on TikTok this girl, Seven of the Stars, I think is her name. She's a little girl. And the mother is also a psychic. She's like channeling blue avians or something. I stumbled upon a video from 2003 where she goes, there's a big gate that's going to open like in the next few days or next week or something. And that's around the time when I did that like, if it wasn't a mushroom trip, the snakes were moving all through me. I was like charioteering the solar system in what I would call a ship, but it was like my body moving with all these snakes dancing around me. Like it was just pure Kundalini fire. Yeah, it was probably around that date. So that's like a confirmation. It's like, this is a friggin' video game. I've had so many analogies. And I notice that when I do something, it makes a huge wave in the world. It reflects out there. So let me know in the comments if that happens to you too, if you're a super powerful one, if you notice your emotions changing the weather and not the reverse kind of thing. It's pretty cool. Like, never underestimate your impact. Even if you think, you're a little fish and not a whale, the little waves that you make interact with other little waves, and it's all part of the big ocean tidal wave. You make an impact bigger than you know all the time, especially if you know how to breathe. Yeah, everybody knows how to breathe, like, deeply. That is key to activating your body, your breath, oh my God, and your heart. So this is not finished. Hold on, it's almost finished. Did I finish it? No. So the Ring of Gaia, then, of which this gene key is a vital aspect, connects all Earth beings on the same initiatory journey. As the ultimate form manifestation of Gaia, humanity stands on the cusp of one of the greatest initiations, the fifth initiation of the Annunciation. Mystically speaking, this great initiation has to do with the conception of a holy child within the body of humanity. Thus, the whole of humanity must sacrifice its independence for a higher vision. This mystical annunciation can only take place through the synarchy. The communion of evolved souls who collectively pioneer this great sacrificial impulse. The 19th city will be one of the first cities that awakens in man at a collective level. Yeah, well, this throat activation with channeling like these super high notes was never able to hit before. I've noticed that in a few other, like, you've noticed light language just activating in a lot of people, but the whole throat with the singing I've noticed in others. Check out, shout out to Brittany Bento. I want to sing with you, girl, if you see this. I don't know, it's a pretty long video. Yeah, but people's throats are activating. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, don't worry. It will if you're open to that. If you if you have enough Lyran codex, if you identify with wanting to make sounds and you're open to that, then just welcome it. Because it's the hum. The feminine hum, especially. This is life. The light sound creates light, and there's an energetic structure. What that looks physical, but it's actually energy. It's all sound, and it's a hum. We just need to like make more sounds from our womb, and we create like this. Yeah, baby. What can I do? I've been thinking about you. Where was I? I just don't want to finish, you know. That's why I keep stalling. There's a few more sentences. I just keep losing where we are. Okay. Thus, the whole of humanity must sacrifice its independence for a higher vision. The mystical enunciation can only take place through the synarchy. Oh, I said this already, sorry. The communion of evolved souls who collectively pioneer this great sacrificial impulse. The 19th city will be one of the first cities that awakens in man at a collective level. As soon as a great mutation has occurred within humanity, and we pass through the 5th initiation, we will see what kind of shift has taken place. One of the traits of the new human will be an incredible sensitivity that is far beyond being psychic. The awareness in such a being will not recognize itself as being separate from other human beings. Thus, they will work for all of humanity without caring for themselves. That's kind of how I see things a lot. I had a low power thing show up. I don't know if that cut out or not. So it just said one of the traits of the new human will be an incredible sensitivity that is far beyond being psychic. The awareness in such a being will not recognize himself as being separate from other human beings. Thus, they're going to work for humanity without caring for themselves. That's the vision that I think I thought every mystic gets. It's like everything becomes your reflection. My client's pain is my pain. Like I automatically interface. It's all one auric living field. So, of course, like it's all one. That's how I see it. It's like you're like, oh my God. So I guess I am the future. Yeah, you got to work for all of humanity. I guess that's an Aquarian thing, right? Or it can't just be me. Although we call that sacrifice, it is not so for them, since they will know no other way to live. Exactly. The 19th city is a herald of the future. It was a herald of the future forms that will house higher frequencies of consciousness. And as such, it displays the great inadequacy of our language. Just as our language has evolved out of our reliance on the 5 senses, future forms will operate through entirely different languages. Current human language is auditory, but the future forms will communicate through their environment using a sense that is closer to what we call touch. So that pressure that I was telling you how I feel in my body, I can like feel, and I'm sure you can too, you just don't notice. But it's like that sense where you just feel, rather, you don't need to talk. You feel everything. And the different language, light language. This is a true language of Gaia, the interconnective auric tissue that brings all beings to the planetary sphere into full awareness of their inherent unity. I live this. Do you live this? Do you guys hear me? Do you guys hear me? This is the true language of Gaia, our planet Earth, Terra. The interconnective auric tissue that brings all beings of the planetary sphere into full awareness of their inherent unity. So this interconnective auric tissue, try and notice it. If ever you've taken any hallucinogenics and you can see a pattern running through absolutely everything. Pattern might be slightly different if it's DMT, natural or otherwise, or say LSD or mushrooms. If I do mushrooms, it's Kundalini for me. So, but there's sometimes it can seem like the pattern is different, but it's kind of the same. You're seeing different angles from it. It's always there. It's code. It's light codes that are infused in absolutely everything, everywhere. And this is how I heal. I tap into that. And you, with your willpower and your surrender at the same time, I recode. You take out bad code, take out bad script, reprogram. So I do this. I've been doing this so long on an individual level that it's getting to honestly be, it can like suck me down. If it's too short of a client that can't meet me as deep as I want to go, I can't get rid of everything. So it's like I only like taking people who are very serious with what they do for like a really long, what do they call, soul retrieval. I call it defragmentation because you never lost your soul. I like doing those, but like not everybody needs that or wants that. And I see at the future, I'm always looking at the future, people are going to be more healed, right? And it's time to take this to the collective, to YouTube. Like, why am I working with one person at a time to, like, with that one person, I can do their whole family chain, their whole family line, and creates big ripple waves. I see that. I see how much impact on one person I can make. But on YouTube, if you like, share, subscribe my channel, please. It's the impact I'm after. It really is. Like, this is my life's work, Gene Key 19, that I just read to you. I'm after the impact, okay? Because everyone's suffering that I see, if I see it, it becomes my own. And I want to end the suffering. I got rid of my own suffering program. And I have the codes. I see what's the bad code that runs people in loops. It's just taking humanity down the drain. I see the way out. I see what to do. I see the paths to clear. Will you join me? Because I don't want you to follow me. I want you to join me. Okay? Have a really, really good beginning of the summer.